Today, we're gonna reverse sear a steak on the big green egg. We're reverse searing a steak on the big green egg today, and it's called reverse sear because a lot of times people will sear the steak and then like put it in the oven, and we're gonna do the opposite of that today. It's going to get a rub, and we're going to put the steak on the grill at indirect heat, somewhere between 250 and 300 degrees, and we're gonna let it cook until it's like a rare, medium rare. We're gonna take it off the big green egg, and then we're gonna put it in a cast iron pan on the big green egg and sear it off at the end, and we'll see how it turns out. All right, so I'm gonna start off seasoning our steak, and today I'm using Lane's Barbecue Brisket Rub, which is a really good all-purpose rub. I like to use it a lot, and it's local here in Georgia. So we're gonna go ahead and season it, and here we go. Our steak is sufficiently rubbed, and it's time to go on the big green egg. And just real quick, I have no smoke, it's just charcoal, indirect heat between 250, 275, under 300. That range is good. And we're gonna monitor the temperature of this until the internal is like 115, about that. So here we go. Our steak has been on the big green egg for 30 minutes or so, but check out what's kind of happening here. So we're seeing some of the fat start to cook. We're seeing it start to break down a little bit, but the steak, even if you touch it, you see still feels like it's not done. You'll see the temperature is 120 degrees, which is about perfect. It's still pretty rare at this point. So what I want to do is get ready to sear this thing. So part of why I love the expander kit, big green egg, is that I can just pull everything out at once. And my coals are going down here, so we want to get the grill really hot. So I'm gonna put the grates back on and heat up my cast iron skillet, and we'll go from there. So I took the plate setter out, so we have direct cooking now, and the grates are down closer to the coals, and now I'm going to put my cast iron skillet on big green egg. We'll get it really hot. One tip is, if you want to hurry up this process, you can go ahead like I did and heat up your cast iron skillet on the stove inside. So it's already really hot, but we're gonna let it get really hot here on the big green egg for a few minutes. Our big green egg is really hot, and we're ready to sear our steak, but the first thing we're gonna do is add some oil. So I just have some canola oil, and I'm going to put a good layer of this in the pan, a pretty good bit to coat the bottom. So that's there. And also we're gonna use butter, but I don't want the butter to burn. So that's part of the reason why we use oil, because it helps stop that from happening. So I'm gonna add a tablespoon of butter. All right, so we have our 2 tablespoons of butter and oil in the pan. And here we go with our steak. When you hear that sound, that's a good thing. We're not gonna close the big green egg. We're just gonna let the fire underneath the pan do the work at this point, because we already cooked it, and we'll leave it for about a minute here. We'll see how it looks, and then we'll flip it. All right, so we've been on here for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, something like that. But what I want you to see is that. That is a good sear on that side of the steak. So now we want to flip it. And it won't take quite as long on the second side. Never does. So we're gonna let this finish off. We'll let it rest, and then we'll cut into it and see what it looks like. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna call this steak done because the sear looks really great on top, and the bottom's starting to look good too. So we don't overcook it, I'm gonna go ahead and pull it off, but you can already see what the bottom is looking like. Just a really great crust that this sear has helped get. And we'll go ahead and set it on the cutting board. It's always good to let it rest a little bit when you pull it off. They say it helps the juices. Okay, so we are ready to cut into our reverse seared New York strip. So here we go. So we're gonna start making some slices with our knife. Oop. Just about like this. Feel a nice crust that I'm cutting through. Probably don't want anybody to hear me say that. And all right, so this looks like a good medium rare plus, and now we'll try it out and see how it is. Yeah, this steak's awesome. One of the things that I noticed with a reverse sear steak is like an evenness of color all the way through the meat, and I think it helps tenderize it too because the fats are able to kind of melt into the steak. But I really like it this way, and I hope you do too.